Well, welcome. We are finally back. So we are reading 2 Kings chapter 4, Elisha and the widow's oil. And I think we'll start there and keep going. And then if we want to, the next story, the healing of Naaman, is really cool too. So we can just go as far as we want to go. Yeah. So you want me to start?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now the wife of a member of the company of prophets cried to Elisha, "Your servant, my husband, is dead, and you know that your servant feared the Lord. But a creditor has come to take my 2 children as slaves." Elisha said to her, "What shall I do for you? Tell me, what do you have in the house?" She answered, "Your servant has nothing in the house except a jar of oil." He said, "Go outside, borrow vessels from all your neighbors, empty vessels and not just a few. Then go in and shut the door behind you and your children and start pouring into all these vessels. When each is full, set it aside." So she left him and shut the door behind her and the children. They kept bringing vessels to her, and she kept pouring. When the vessels were full, she said to her son, "Bring me another vessel." But he said to her, "There are no more." Then the oil stopped flowing. She came and told the man of God, and he said, "Go, sell the oil, and pay your debts, and you and your children can live on the rest."
Let's pause just for a moment. Was there anything else about this story that grabs attention or needs that, hits you today? Were any of you familiar with this story?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd heard it before, but it sounded vaguely familiar, but I wasn't super familiar.
Yeah, it sounds very similar to the one where the I forget which prophet it was that was running out and hiding and stayed with the widow, and she had a vessel of oil that she was cooking bread with that never ran out. But this one, she is just pouring from one vessel into all these other vessels,
That is true.
Then.
Yeah, so that other one, that's Elijah and the widow, which Jesus quotes in Luke and says, because she wasn't Jewish, she wasn't from Israel. He went outside of Israel and he helped. He's like, all the people in the famine, and he helps an outsider. This is what got Jesus almost thrown off a cliff, is that he was applying good news to the poor, to people who weren't just. So this is like, there's a lot of echoes. This is Elisha's echo of that story. So Elijah, Elisha. Nice little echo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think we read this one in the lectionary very often. I actually chose this because the alternate reading was kind of annoying. And I'm trying to include more women too in our stories, because sometimes they just don't even show up very often, or they don't say anything. So, yeah.
Pardon me. Well, there's a woman in the very next bit too.
Yeah.
Should I go on?
Yeah, why don't you go on?
The Shunammite? Okay. One day Elisha was passing through Shunem, where a wealthy woman lived, who urged him to have a meal. So whenever he passed that way, he would stop there for a meal. She said to her husband, "Look, I am sure that this man who regularly passes our way is a holy man of God. Let us make a small roof chamber with walls and put there for him a bed, a table, a chair, and a lamp, so that he can stay there whenever he comes to us." One day when he came there, he went up to the chamber and lay down there. He said to his servant Gehazi, "Call the Shunammite woman." When he had called her, she stood before him. He said to him, "Say to her, 'Since you have taken all this trouble for us, what may be done for you? Would you have a word spoken on your behalf to the king or to the commander of the army?" She answered, "I live among my own people." He said, "What then may be done for her?" Gehazi answered, "Well, she has no son, and her husband is old." He said, "Call her." When he had called her, she stood at the door. He said, "At this season, in due time, you shall embrace a son." She replied, "No, my lord, O man of God, do not deceive your servant." The woman conceived and bore a son at that season, in due time, as Elisha had declared to her. When the child was older, he went out one day to his father among the reapers. He complained to his father, "Oh, my head, my head." The father said to his servant, "Carry him to his mother." He carried him and brought him to his mother. The child sat on her lap until noon, and he died. She went up and laid him on the bed of the man of God, closed the door on him, and left. Then she called to her husband and said, "Send me one of the servants and one of the donkeys, so that I may quickly go to the man of God and come back again." He said, "Why go to him today? It is neither new moon nor Sabbath." She said, "It will be all right." Then she saddled the donkey and said to her servant, "Urge the animal on. Do not hold back for me unless I tell you." So she set out and came to the man of God at Mount Carmel. When the man of God saw her coming, he said to Gehazi, his servant, "Look, there is the Shunammite woman. Run at once to meet her and say to her, 'Are you all right? Is your husband all right? Is the child all right?'" She answered, "It is all right." When she came to the man of God at the mountain, she caught hold of his feet. Gehazi approached to push her away, but the man of God said, "Let her alone, for she is in bitter distress. The Lord has hidden it from me and has not told me." Then she said, "Did I ask my Lord for a son? Did I not say, 'Do not mislead me'?" He said to Gehazi, "Gird up your loins, and take my staff in your hand, and go. If you meet anyone, give no greeting, and if anyone greets you, do not answer. And lay my staff on the face of the child." Then the mother of the child said, "As the Lord lives, and as you yourself live, I will not leave without you." So he rose up and followed her. Gehazi went on ahead and laid the staff on the face of the child, but there was no sound or sign of life. He came back to meet him and told him, "The child has not awakened." When Elisha came into the house, he saw the child lying dead on his bed. So he went in and closed the door on the two of them and prayed to the Lord. Then he got up on the bed and lay upon the child, putting his mouth upon his mouth, his eyes upon his eyes, and his hands upon his hands. And while he lay bent over him, the flesh of the child became warm. He got down, walked once to and fro in the room, then got up again and bent over him. The child sneezed 7 times, and the child opened his eyes. Elisha summoned Gehazi and said, "Call the Shunammite woman." So he called her. When she came to him, he said, "Take your son." She came and fell at his feet, bowing to the ground. Then she took her son and left. I can't say as I remember ever hearing that story.
Yeah, I definitely haven't heard this
It's
one.
bizarre.
Really bad, yeah.
Jeff, from verse 11 through 16, it's very confusing.
Yes. Who's saying
Who's
what?
saying what, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
speaking directly to her, speaking through various servants.
Mhm.
That might be a translation issue. Maybe it's a little easier to follow in Hebrew.
It did strike me that he was needing to go use Gehazi as a translator.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's why he sent Gehazi off to meet with the woman because he couldn't speak the language, and then Gehazi had to
That's interesting.
translate. Even when the woman, when he was, she was at his feet.
That makes sense.
This is even more fully an echo. It's 2 different women. So, like in the Elijah story, he meets the woman and does a miracle so that they keep having oil to make cakes. And her son gets sick and he heals him or raises him back from the dead. This is like 2 different.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah,
interesting.
That is very interesting.
Yes, it's there.
And it reminds me of, well, we're going to get to the echo of the feeding of the 4,000 that Jesus does, but Jesus also heals the child who's said to be dead, and Jairus' daughter. There's a lot of echoes.
It sounds a lot like Jairus' daughter,
Yeah.
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 There's a lot more detail about how the healing is performed.
Yeah.
The resurrection.
It intrigued me that Elisha got on top of the child and was like doing almost like a what we would think of as mouth to mouth resuscitation, but almost like it almost implies that he gave his own spirit back into the boy. You know what I mean? Like touching his hands,
Yeah.
and his mouth,
I
and his
see.
like I don't know. It just
If this was a science
interesting.
fiction story, I
This
would
one is
totally
kind of-
expect
yes.
that's what they're
Yes.
doing.
Fold that one.
I somewhat expected the story to end with. Since I don't recall hearing this story before, I somewhat expected Elisha to fall ill and die. It was like I thought he was on a little bit more in this book.
Yeah, I don't anymore.
He wasn't done yet. Sure enough, he's not done yet. But
Yeah.
Stagger. If I was doing this dramatically, I'd have him stagger away as a weekend. Has to recover now.
This is random, but when I read this story a while ago, on verse 23, I was struck that her husband says, "It is neither the new moon nor Sabbath." And I was like, so back then, they understood some of the symbolism of like a new moon. You might do a, Sabbath, monthly or weekly thing, but new moon would be once a month.
Yes.
And I don't know if there's lasted any traditions in Judaism that you do some sort of purifying on the new moon or some sort of ritual, but I just have a note that says it might be a ritual that, go and get a blessing or go and do this holy thing on a new moon. And to me, that was a cool link of like, we often think doing anything with the moon is like pagan, or other, that it's not Christian.
Right.
Well, we use months, so
Right there.
we've got a half lunar calendar.
Yeah.
Half lunar, half solar, and
Yeah.
that's why it's messed up.
Yeah.
I had assumed that the new moon comet was, if she's going to be traveling for an unknown period of time, as she goes looking for the holy man, having a new moon will give her better light to travel by night.
Except new moon is when the moon is dark.
Right,
Oh.
full moon.
Yeah.
You're thinking the other way around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good point.
This is my note is new moons and Sabbaths were time for special rituals, so these were apparently appropriate times to visit religious figures.
Ah.
Oh.
That's a lot.
It's funny because the other note says the husband probably doesn't know that why she's leaving, that the son is dead. I'm like, that's just bizarre.
It is bizarre.
Yeah.
A
We
lot
have a
of
very
tell
close relationship.
Oh my goodness
Well,
gracious.
they're apparently wealthy,
Yeah.
so they probably kind of live their own lives
Yeah.
because they can afford to. And a lot of marriages were of convenience, so they didn't spend more time together than they absolutely had to.
Yeah, we gotta do it.
But still,
But also, I bet she wouldn't tell him because she's hoping Elisha will bring him back to life.
and now they can
Yeah.
So she
fret.
doesn't want to accept that he's dead yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
He's probably got enough servants. He's like, servants take care of the kid. I don't worry about it.
Yeah, right.
I mean, he was older, but yeah, he's complaining of a headache, and so his father said, "Yeah, send him off to his mother and let her deal with him."
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
I
her
got
job.
I got work to do.
Yeah.
I can't.
I wonder if he had
Yeah,
a stroke
two
or something.
kings and
A headache and then die.
Elisha.
Yeah, it's
The
strange for a
windows oil.
child.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Although I had a classmate in high school who had a stroke. So it happens.
Oh, well.
It's not common, but it happens.
Someone else want to go?
Sure.
We're moving on.
Yeah, I
Starting
think
at
somebody
38.
wants to go.
When Elisha returned to Gilgal, there was a famine in the land. As the company of prophets was sitting before him, he said to his servant, "Put the large pot on, and make some stew for the company of prophets." One of them went out into the field to gather herbs. He found a wild vine, and gathered from it a lap full of wild gourds, and came and cut them up into the pot of stew, not knowing what they were. Cross your fingers. They served some for the men to eat, but while they were eating the stew, they cried out, "Oh, man of God, there is death in the pot!" They could not eat it. He said, "Then bring some flour." He threw it into the pot and said, "Serve the people and let them eat." And there was nothing harmful in the pot.
Oops.
A man came from Baal-Shalisha, bringing food from the first fruits to the man of God, 20 loaves of barley and fresh ears of grain in a sack. Elisha said, "Give it to the people and let them eat." But his servant said, "How can I set this before 100 people?" So he repeated, "Give it to the people and let them eat, for thus says the Lord, they shall eat and have some left."
Oh dear.
He set it before them, they ate and had some left, according to the word of God. So yeah, you got those echoes, Elijah,
Yes.
then Elisha, and then Jesus.
That's right.
Yes. That's cool.
Wow.
So this is how they prove their,
That's one reason why when Jesus says, "Who do people say that I am?" some people think he's Elijah.
Sure.
Because they recognize some of the miracles
Yeah.
and signs.
yeah, who else could do that? Well, Elisha
Yeah.
apparently, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they have problems keeping them straight too.
yeah, the names are very similar.
I memorized it by going J comes before SH.
That makes sense.
Oh.
That's a good mnemonic.
Mnemonic device, that's it.
Yeah.
Alphabetically sorted.
Alphabetically.
You want me to keep going?
Yeah.
Naaman, commander of the army of the king of Aram, was a great man and in high favor with his master, because by him the Lord had given victory to Aram. The man, though a mighty warrior, suffered from leprosy. Now the Arameans on one of their raids had taken a young girl captive from the land of Israel, and she served Naaman's wife. She said to her mistress, If only my Lord were with the prophet who is in Samaria, he would cure him of his leprosy.
Oh dear.
So Naaman went in and told his Lord just what the girl from the land of Israel had said. And the king of Aram said, Go then, and I will send along a letter to the king of Israel.
Oh.
He went, taking with him 10 talents of silver, 6,000 shekels of gold, and 10 sets of garments. He brought the letter to the king of Israel, which read, When this letter reaches you, know that I have sent to you my servant Naaman, that you may cure him of his leprosy. When the king of Israel read the letter, he tore his clothes and said, Am I God to give death or life, that this man sends word to me to cure a man of his leprosy? Just look and see how he is trying to pick a quarrel with me.
Oh no.
But when Elisha, the man of God, heard that the king of Israel had torn his clothes, he sent a message to the king. Why have you torn your clothes? Let him come to me, that he may learn that there is a prophet in Israel.
Yes, there is.
So Naaman came with his horses and chariots and halted at the entrance of Elisha's house. Elisha sent a messenger to him, saying, Go, wash in the Jordan 7 times, and your flesh shall be restored, and you shall be clean.
Yeah.
But Naaman became angry, and he went away, saying, I thought that for me he would surely come out and stand and call on the name of the Lord his God, and would wave his hand over the spot and cure the leprosy.
Yeah.
Are not Abana and Pharpar, the rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? Could I not wash in them and be clean? He turned and went away in a rage.
Oh.
But his servants approached and said to him, Father, if the prophet had commanded you to do something difficult, would you not have done it? How much more when all he said to you was wash and be clean? So he went down and immersed himself 7 times in the Jordan, according to the word of the man of God. His flesh was restored like the flesh of a young boy,
Yeah.
and he was clean.
Wow.
Then he returned to the man of God, he and all his company. He came and stood before him and said, Now I know that there is no God in all the earth except in Israel. Please accept a present from your servant. But he said, As the Lord lives, whom I serve, I will accept nothing. He urged him to accept, but he refused. Then Naaman said, If not, please let 2 mule loads of earth be given to your servant, for your servant will no longer offer burnt offering or sacrifice to any god except the Lord. But may the Lord pardon your servant on one count. When my master goes into the house of Rimmon to worship there, leaning on my arm, and I bow down in the house of Rimmon, when I do bow down in the house of Rimmon, may the Lord pardon your servant on this one count. He said to him, Go in peace.
Okay. When I was at Bishop's Theological, this was one of the stories that our speaker talked about, and I really loved her insight. She said, if you notice, the main action of faith is taken by unnamed people. It's first this young girl who was taken captive, and how interesting that
Yeah.
she's been taken captive, so she's living in a foreign land, in a foreign place, and she hears that her master has leprosy, and she actually gives advice.
Okay.
That's pretty amazing, instead of going, ha ha ha, he's gonna die, take
No,
that.
it's not that.
She actually offers this possibility, and I'm forgetting her name now, the pastor said that she thought it was pretty amazing, like when people are on the bottom margins,
Oh,
they benefit from the healing of the masters.
yes.
Because when the masters are violent and controlling and ego-filled, which Naaman seemed to be, it's not good for anybody. And maybe she knew that the leprosy in some ways was reflective of his inner state, and that if he was healed, he would be a better man. I thought that was really cool.
That was very cool.
And then Elijah sends a messenger to talk. So Elijah he just has the messenger who's unnamed talk to him. And then when Naaman has a temper tantrum, this dirty thing, I'm too important, right? So he's not willing to humble himself to do this. His servants tell him, excuse me, sir, but this is an easy thing, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was such a great observation. And she was like, remember to listen to the unnamed people, because they can see things that those in power with big important names can't see.
Yeah.
And the last thing I'll say about it, and then please tell me your observations, was like, part of his healing was he needed to humble himself enough to go into the dirty water. That was actually the moment he was
I see.
healed. was when he finally said, fine, I'll obey, I'll put my ego aside.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
Well, this story did actually ring bells for me. I remember when I was a little kid, I
Yeah.
watched this cartoon called Superbook. It was about the Bible that spoke to this young boy and his friend who was a girl, and their little robot came along too, of course.
Oh!
That's
But
adorable.
it was, and they would go through stories of the Bible. But there was this one. I remember this one coming up as one of the stories. But the thing that stands out to me, besides the fact that we got the slave girl who was brought in, and she actually was kind to her master to give the advice of
Oh, yeah.
going into Israel, is that at the end, this servant who wishes to, or is it I'm losing track of it, is the soldier, but it sounds like the soldier commenting
Yes.
that
Kind of sore.
he now worships God, but he has to still go through the motions of worshiping this other God because his superiors commanded, and so, but the prophet doesn't condemn having to go through those motions, knowing his heart belongs to God now.
Now that's interesting to contrast that with what we see in some of the New Testament, some of the letters, where they chide people for business reasons, going and giving offerings in the temple of the Roman gods or whatever.
Yeah, I can see
Saying that just because you say it, you don't mean it, doesn't
Yeah.
make it okay. And yet here we got someone saying, yeah, it's fine.
Yes.
Maybe the difference is showing contrition or saying, I acknowledge this is I'm just being fake here, and I've got to do it anyway.
I remember hearing about rituals that one of the purpose of rituals is that it's not like for God. God doesn't need us to do any rituals, but it's for our own subconscious.
Yes.
That when we do something and we hold something and touch something and smell something, it signals some deep symbolism that makes sense to us. So like we can get together and be like, here we are, God is in the midst of us. But when we light a candle and say God is in the midst of us, some part of us goes, it's true, right?
Yeah,
and
it is.
then when we sing a song, or if we dance, or
Yes.
if we pass bread and wine, we can say we are one. But then if we like pass the common cup and all eat from the same bread, for example, there's something in the back of us that's like, it is true. So even if you weren't super believing,
Yeah.
when you went into a ritual, you might leave being believing because your brain was like, we have done the thing. This is true, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool.
It is
Um,
pretty nice.
so like on my altar, I have different colors candles that represent, I just have to say, this is what it represents for me. And I light them and for seasons and for different things that I want. And
Neat.
God doesn't care, right? But it's helps focus my energy of what I want to pray for and think
Oh, yeah.
about. And
Oh, that's cool. And yeah, it's like rituals, none of them are necessary for our salvation. Absolutely none. Baptism, communion, all of it, we do it with a great deal of passion, but none of them are necessary for our salvation. We're doing them to help us remember
yes,
that it's important.
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
It's amazing the
Although
power
there
of
are
doing
many
things
people
together.
who think that they're
Oh,
ultimately absolutely
Yeah.
necessary. There are people who will swear to their graves that if you haven't been baptized, then you haven't been saved. And
Blood has been spilled over the correct manner of baptism,
Yeah.
even. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's true too.
it's rather tragic.
Yeah.
yeah, we
Yeah.
should all be on the same side. But that's a different.
But it's not to say that rituals have no value. They have enormous value because exactly what you said. They help us focus on what's true,
Oh, yeah.
what's real, what we believe,
yeah.
and to do it together makes it so powerful.
Yeah.
It's grounding
Wow.
to use your senses. Like, you can think about things, and they may very well be true. But
Yeah.
when you touch them or smell them or whatever,
Yeah.
it makes it more real.
I always liked the common cup for that reason, because I liked the idea we were all drinking from the same cup. And I'm just not very germophobic, so
Oh, I was
always
gonna
sad.
say,
No,
very
no, I know.
Yeah.
Last Thursday, we had a pastor's ministerium where we got together with pastors from St. Paul Synod, and it was the first time there was an option for the common cup. I took it. I don't know how many people did, but it was an option. And I was
Especially
like,
after COVID.
I haven't done this in over 5 years. Yeah.
That would be.
We were at a funeral this year, whether it was an Episcopalian church, and they did the common cup. You didn't think, should I use the cup? Because I was like, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. I mean, the nice thing
Other
is
people declined altogether.
it's
just got a blessing.
alcohol, and so there's like a little bit of disinfectant.
It's
in it
antiseptic.
Naturally, exactly.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, and I've seen them just like wipe it, but like you can't wipe germs
No.
with just your cloth. That's not
That does
working.
nothing.
I know.
It helps
Yeah.
reduce the
What it
lipstick
is.
buildup.
Yes.
Yeah, that's about right.
But I do like the symbolism of it as well.
Yeah, and when I was with Bethany College's choir and we did our tour in Scandinavia, they were doing communions at some of the churches that we sang at with the common cup. And this one huge cathedral, the choir was the last to be served, and I was towards the end of the choir, and like, gotta finish this.
Oh, that is great.
I
That's
get
great.
all down yet?
That was a good
not all of
one.
it, but
That one was a good
the
one.
portions were increasing as they were getting towards the end. And this is the guy who doesn't drink.
He doesn't drink? Oh, no. Oh, no.
Straight to the head.
Well,
To the right.
The last person
I can't
falls
say I
over.
got it wasn't like that much instantly drunk or anything, but it was like the irony was right there considering
Yep,
that
it was.
I was at the tail end of all the guys, and most of the guys, of course, were guys that would had plenty of experience with alcohol.
Yeah, that was funny.
That's hilarious.
I was at the wrong end of the line.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So this reminds me, in John, which we're going to be reading in the winter, when
Yeah.
Jesus washes the feet of everybody, that ritual.
Oh.
And again, it's like, we think of it, we're like, oh, that's nice. But if you actually do that, you realize how kind of intimate and uncomfortable
Disgusting.
it
Yeah.
is.
That too, yeah.
Which is why we've done hand washing
Yep.
Yeah.
rather than foot washing.
Oh.
But I'll let you in, and you can tell me what you think of this. This Maundy, Thursday, I want to do, instead of the regular worship service we do in here, I would like us to have, like at 6 o'clock, a meal that replicates the earliest Holy Communion of the Christian Church. That's like a potluck meal, and we do Holy Communion exactly in the night in which he was betrayed. At the beginning, we do the one thing, and again after supper, right?
Yeah.
And we can have some hymns as we gather and end. And if you have ever been to the Seder meal, there will be some elements that will feel like this, but this will be Christian
Yeah.
rather than like
Yeah.
Lutheran Jewish or whatever.
Absolutely down
Oh.
for that.
Yes,
I
I'm
know
really
you've done
excited.
the
Yeah,
Seder meal,
I
so I
think
was
it's
trying to
good
pick out the differences between the
see it.
Seder meal and this other.
That would be
process.
very cool, exactly. Because I want to do hand washing because it's like the foot washing. We'll have the bread and the wine. There'll be a little storytelling and singing, but it will be Christian. And I wanted to do this in 2020. I was going to launch it, and then after that, I was just trying to get my bearings. And now
Yeah.
I'm like, this is the year. Love feast. Yeah,
It's really taken us 5 years to get back to
Yeah,
normal
that's true.
routines.
maybe. But again, it's like
Yeah, it is.
sitting down and eating and thinking about this is like a meal.
I think so.
And the communion done that way, like how Jesus would have done it, I think would be
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad you're
Yeah.
excited because I'm excited.
I'm super
I'm
excited.
glad.
Okay.
I'm real glad. But that's okay.
Now it looks like the story continues on and gets interesting.
Yeah, you want
It's
to
got a
finish
twist on it.
finish the chapter?
Yeah.
But when Naaman had gone from him a short distance, Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, the man of God, thought, my master's let the Aramean Naaman off too lightly by not accepting from him what he offered. As the Lord lives, I will run after him and get something out of him.
Okay.
So Gehazi went after Naaman. When Naaman saw someone running after him, he jumped down from the chariot to meet him and said, is everything all right? He replied, yes, but my master has sent me to say, 2 members of a company of prophets have just come to me from the hill country of Ephraim. Please give them a talent of silver and 2 changes of clothing. Naaman said, please accept 2 talents. He urged him and tied up 2 talents of silver in 2 bags with 2 changes of clothing and gave them to 2 of his servants who carried them in front of Gehazi. When he came to the citadel, he took the bags from them and stored them inside. He dismissed the men, and they left. He went in and stood before his master, and Elisha said to him, where have you been, Gehazi? He answered, your servant has not gone anywhere at all.
Oh, dear.
But I said to him, didn't I not go with you in spirit when someone left his chariot to meet you? Is this a time to accept money and to accept clothing, olive orchards and vineyards, sheep and oxen and male and female slaves?
Oh, yes.
Therefore the leprosy of Naaman shall cling to you and to your descendants forever.
Yeah, I think so.
So he left his presence leprous, as white as snow.
Ooh.
That's harsh.
Then, of
To his
course.
descendants too.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Gehazi was
Oof,
Why
really
his
bad
tail off there?
really bad representation of the living God to lie, cheat, and
Yeah.
steal.
yes.
It's
You have to be
interesting.
a
It's
keeper.
like the ego
Mhm.
of Naaman, who probably has done a lot of lying, cheating, and stealing,
Yeah.
which embodied his leprosy. Now, I like to see this. Okay, this is my new tactic. Instead of seeing this as like Elijah did this is exactly what happened, it's talking about in a metaphorical sense that what you put out is coming back to you. So if we think of this in metaphor, it's like, how do you cure what ails
Oh,
you?
yes.
Humble yourself and surrender to God and wait for
yes.
miracles to happen.
Yeah.
And if you're living in a way that's opposite of that, something's gonna, like you're attracting something negative because you're putting out negative. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So it's not like, you can see it as Elijah cursing him. You can see it as like God being like, ha ha, but I don't think that's God.
No,
I think it's
that
more
is.
like, oh, don't do that, don't do that. Oh, look what you did to yourself.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
If that makes sense.
The stories in the Bible to me don't tell me what happened, they tell me how to be.
I like that. Say that again.
They don't tell you what happened, they tell you how to be.
Oh.
And a lot of, I mean, if you read a lot of ancient stories from lots of different cultures, they usually work like that, where it's more meant to tell you how to be a human
Each is fools.
than to tell you what humans do
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
or did.
Yeah.
We frequently make the mistake of reading this like a history or a strict account, and I don't
Yeah.
think that's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we just read it like that, we're going to miss all of that deep. This
That's
is how you
something,
need
right,
to live.
yeah.
That's what helped me get over the Elijah and Jezebel thing. That I just like have such an axe to grind
Oh.
about the way that Jezebel is talked about in the Bible. And then I was like, okay, it's a metaphor, Siri. This isn't about interfaith, lack of dialogue, or misogyny. What does Jezebel represent? And then I was able to go, okay, if they're metaphors, she represents that which is confusing, distracting people from loving God, walking in justice and mercy, all of that good stuff. And then I'm like, okay, I can totally see that happening today.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
like we all get distracted, let alone
Yes.
looking at the Christian faith in general and what a disaster it feels
Yes.
like some places are in values.
Yeah.
Wow.
If I ever have a blessing of the guns, just fire me.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
I know,
Don't do
right?
that.
Blessing of
No,
the
no.
animals, yes. A blessing of the guns,
I think that baffles me. They're just things.
These shirts that say God, guns, Trump, and I just think
I know.
one of these things doesn't belong, and I'm very sad about which one.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh.
yeah.
Most of the animals, those are cute.
As long as they're not
That's my centipede.
just not, yeah, just no
Yeah,
snakes. No
ugh.
snakes for me.
Centipede's like the worst of both worlds. It's sinuous like a snake, and it's got too many legs.
I can do
They are
that.
freaky.
Yeah.
That's so, I just said centipedes are freaky.
Yeah.
They're like the
I'd
worst
rather
for
have
me.
a snake, but we're all
You'll
different.
have to
One's
have
a
a snake,
fight.
or
But yeah,
As we end our conversation,
Yeah.
I just
Yeah,
I just thought of this. I was like,
I think it's time to go.
almost. Yeah, I just had one final question, and I just thought, if we put ourselves in the shoes of Naaman, since he's kind of the centerpiece of this,
Ooh, yeah.
is there anything we feel we've been asked to do in terms of humbling ourselves, doing something we didn't want to do,
Mm,
that ended up being good for us?
yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Many times I've had to abandon my plans, when I was going to my first 3 years of college was at a ELCA school down in Kansas, but when they had they dropped
Oh.
most of their computer science program, I had to scramble for midterms until I found decided to go to the U of M, to scramble and find where I had to go next, because all the maneuvers I thought I would try and stay at Bethany
Yeah.
wouldn't work, but found a lot more opportunities when I came up here. So
Yeah.
That was good. That was good.
I feel like parenting is a lot of that.
yeah.
You have to put yourself second
You've
when
gotta
when
get
you don't
down
want
there.
to, and then in some ways it's very rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of opportunities in relationships in general.
Yes.
When
Oh.
you learn something about yourself, you're like, oh, I do that?
Mm-hmm.
And that always feels like a humbling moment to accept that you're not perfect, that
Yeah.
you're, you know,
Yeah, but I
Right.
can see it now. It's a Tennessee. Thank
Yeah,
you. Look at
it's-
this crazy thing.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, there's times when you're like,
There are
there's
times when you can't
something you're
have to do
supposed
it.
that somebody's telling you should do, and you're like, I'm not doing that. That's stupid. And it turns
Well,
out they're right all along.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, cool.
Or worse, when you realize the opportunity's over, you can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
You're like, I should have
See,
listened.
we still have this though.
Yeah.
At least Naaman still got the chance because somebody.
The cottage sort of Elisha and the windows, oil.
Yeah, that's what we read today.
Then it's just gone, poof. That's what it does.
I think for me, one of the biggest humbling experiences was when I was doing a lot of the racial justice learning and realizing all the programming in my head and reading
Yeah.
books that were saying,
Oh, that was
when white
funny.
women get uncomfortable, they cry and then they make it about themselves. And I was like, oh, I remember when I did that once. Oh no!
Oh, no.
And I just, it's not a fault
Oh, that's
thing,
funny.
but it's
Yeah.
just like, you learn about, this is what white people do, this is what white women do, this is what white men do, this is how people react, this is how they see black people. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so that was very humbling for me to just realize I was a part of something I didn't want to be a part
Yeah.
of. I think that's the biggest example I can think of learning.
Yeah, probably.
And then just like when you're in a room of people who are, black or Hispanic or whatever,
Mm.
speak less,
Yep.
give them room, be
Mhm.
very intentional
Yes.
about because
Mm-hmm.
it's not an even playing field. And yeah, that's my thought.
No.
All right, thanks everybody.
Okay.